Dangal greetings everyone. Good day po. So for today, I prepared a pre-recorded lecture. So as I said before, I have important matters to do for this week. This week lang po ako magkakaroon ng pre-recording ng discussion natin. So I hope you understand for now lang po. So welcome for today's session of our discussion. For this week, we will focus our topic. It's all about the measurement. Iikot at iikot lang po tayo about the measurement. So, but before we proceed to our formal lecture, I want you first to watch. Just pause this video and just watch the link that I will attach yan sa baba, yung YouTube, wherein kailangan nyo po munang i-watch yan and to identify whether kung ano yung ma-observe nyo doon. Basically, babalikan nyo lang yung lecture natin. That's it. Pause muna. Okay, continue. Let's have based sa video na napanood nyo, or a short clip rather, that it talks about the story behind the Martian climate orbiter rather. So dito, basically, it talks about the problem which is connected to our topic for today about the measurement. Because of the measurement or error about the measurement, nagkaroon ng problema when it comes to the orbiter na pinadala ng NASA sa Mars. So in December 1998, NASA launched a $125 million Mars Climate Orbiter instead as the Red Planet First Weather Satellite. After 416 million miles journey, the spacecraft was supported to go into Mars over September 23, 1999. Instead of entered Mars atmosphere about 100 kilometer miles, however, then planned and was destroyed by heat. So here, kung napanood nyo man kanina, yung pinasinasabi ko na video is that our NASA, our scientists, even our scientists, is hindi sila unbeatable when it comes to measurement. Ibig sabihin, they have encountered a problem itself, specifically in a computation. So that's why that it is necessary for us, even we are a simple person, we have to be familiarized with the basic computation. Kahit sa basic lang is at least familiar tayo. So ano nangyari? Bakit nasira or sumabog yung satellite na pinadala natin sa Mars in order to observe the climate in the planet Mars? The mission controller said the loss of spacecraft was the failure to convert English measurement unit into metric unit in navigation software. Engineers at Lockheed Martin Corporation who built the spacecraft specified in thrust pounds, which is an English unit. Scientists at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, on the other hand, has assumed that thrust data is received more compressed metric unit as network. Normally, the pound in the unit for mass express unit for force. However, 1 lb the force due to gravitational attraction of the object of mass. So in short, sumabog yung spacecraft due to wrong computation or wrong measurement and wrong conversion specifically dahil lang sa konting anomaly or maling computation na nagawa ng mga scientists. Ayun, napurnada pa yung mission. Sana na possible na maging successful kung nagawa lang ng maayos yung conversion. So, very timely, very applicable siya sa topic natin. Then, to carry the conversion between the pounds and newton, we start with 1 lb is equal to 0.4536 kg from Newton's second law of motion. So, dito, yung error na encounter ng mga astronaut natin, including the scientists, the one who made the conversion, is that hindi nila na-apply yung concept ni Newton, which is the law of acceleration. So, it is said that the force is equal to mass times acceleration. The 1 lb, they said that it is equal to 4536 kg times 9.81 meter per second squared. So, since that computation, 9.81, since nasa Earth pa tayo, the application of the constant value is 9.81 is constant yan mismo. Pero pag nasa Mars na, kung natuloy yun, they have to do a recomputation, of course, which is applicable to the presence of gravity of their planet. So, ayan. Supposedly, dapat 4.45. So, supposedly, we will apply the proper computation na ginamit nila. Nagka-error sila due to its assuming. Nag-assume lang yung scientist natin. Supposedly, they assume that 1 Newton is equals to 1 kilogram meter per seconds. Nag-assume lang sila wherein hindi nila in-apply yung proper conversion. Wherein supposedly is sobrang malayo sa conversion ng 1 Newton into a 4.45 Newton. So, dito, nagkaroon ng error, and because of that minor error is nagka-problema or nasira pa mismo yung mission. Nag-fail pa yung mission. So, okay, let's continue for our formal discussion which talks about the measurement. Here's our learning competency, by the way. First, to define the measurement. Second, familiarize the SI units, SI base unit, and prefixes used in SI units. Convert units in measurement, scientific notation, and significant figures. Differentiate accuracy and precision and density measurement. So, dito, don't worry, when compared to your physics, medyo less lang yung kung compare natin sa physics, less lang yung computation dito. Just a combination of concept and minor computation. Ayun, huwag kayong ma-stress agad-agad. So, let's start. Let's have, what is a measurement? Measurement, kayo identify the difference from length to width and height. Ayan, question pala. Very weird. Identify the difference between the length, width, and height. So, obviously, they are different matters. Magkakaiba si length, si width, and si height. Tama ba? So, let's define the measurement for now. Measurement, it provides quantitative information that is critical in studying and practicing chemistry. From the word itself, quantitative, we are dealing with the numbers this time. Quantitative, we're dealing with application with numbers in chemistry. Each measurement has an amount, a unit for, a comparison, and uncertainty. These values, yung nagagamitin natin, is we can use this to comprehend or compare the values from other to do a chemistry stuff. Pang conversion, pang measurement, lahat-lahat po. A measurement can also be presented in either with decimal or scientific notation. So, dito, every points or every decimals annotation really matters. Kasi pag nagkamali ka lang ng placement ng value, is mali na agad yung equivalent nun. So, kaya mahalaga na alam natin kung paano mag-convert or mag-measure ng sakto. Especially sa science na needed natin ng unit. Sa math kasi, pure number, when solving this one, we will all have the same number without considering the unit. But in science, hindi siya applicable ng ganong concept. Okay. The different instrument enables to measure a property. So, obviously, when we are measuring, we need a measuring tools. Tama po ba? And every properties, we need tawag dito, yung saktong measurement tool. Hindi naman pwedeng magsukat tayo ng volume with the use of ruler. It's not applicable. Pwede siya, pero hindi siya sakto, hindi siya fit typically. May mga specific tool that is fit in sample, in a specific sample. So, example, when we are wanted to measure the length, obviously, pwede tayong gumamit ng mga ruler. If we are wanted to measure the temperature, we can use a thermometer, di ba? Hindi naman pwede gamitin sa length, gamitin mo yung thermometer, di ba? Hindi. So, ayan. So, as you can see the picture, we have the meter stick. Meter stick measures the length or the scale. So, along with the ruler, symmetric stick is mas mahaba siya compared mismo isang pulgada ba? Isang ganun, so sobrang haba siya, malaki siya, advantage siya in a way na pag yung sinusukat mo is in a distance, sobrang haba. Pero kung mga minor lang, pwede kayong gumamit ng rulers. Opo. We have also in a laboratory, we can use a burette, the pipette, the graduated cylinder, the volumetric flask to measure the volume. So, itong mga na-mention natin, yung pipette, graduated cylinder, yan yung ginagamit natin sa laboratory in order to to compute or to measure rather the volume of chemicals. So, then we have the balance to measure a mass. Meron din tayong pang-kilo sa mga chemicals or kiluhan, the balance in laboratory kasi kailangan din natin makuha yung exact grams, milligrams, tama po. And we have also the thermometer to measure the temperature. Ayan. So we have the SI units. This one is the standard unit na sinusunod natin lagi. For many years, scientists record measurement in a metric units. Supposedly, hindi pa uso before, metric units muna, which are related decimally, that is by followed by 10. In 1960, however, the General Conference of the Weight of the Measure, the International Authority of Units, proposed the revised metric system called the International System Unit. Ayan, lumabas na or nabuhay na sa SI unit coming from the revised version of the metric units. So, we have the following. We have the base units. Ito yung mga sinusunod natin na SI units. Kung baga, the rest ng mga small units or larger units is kailangan nating i-convert. Kung baga, sila yung mga batayan na units natin. So, when it comes to time, we are measuring time. The common symbol that we use is small letter T. The SI base unit name is a second. And the symbol of a second, obviously, small letter S. For length, we have the small letter L. SI base unit, it could be a meter or metri in British. And small letter M, the symbol. We have the mass for small letter M. We have also the SI base name. It could be, it is a kilogram. Ayan, kilogram po ha, yung SI base unit with a symbol of kg. And we have also the electric current, which is the symbol of I, with a unit name ampere, with a capital letter A. And thermodynamics temperature, symbol with letter T. And the SI base unit name is Kelvin, and the SI symbol is K. And amount of substance, we have the N, and the SI unit name is a mole. Ito ma-encounter natin ulit si mole once we were tackling or ma-encounter pag pumasok na tayo sa next topic natin. Well, it's about stoichiometry. And we have also the luminosity, luminous intensity with LV or candela with the symbol of CD. The quantity symbol generally single letters. Ayan, mostly single letter naman talaga. Latin or a Greek alphabets printed that is italic font and our recommendations. The symbol of SI units are printed in upper Roman form and mandatory. So, ayan, self-explanatory lang naman to, yung mga ganitong concept. Be familiarized lang po sa mga concept na to. So, I derived quantities and derived units. Yung pinakita natin kanina, ayan, those are the base units. Ito yung pinanggalingan, yung common units na ginagamit natin. With a combination of these units with other form of units, we can achieve or derive, tinatawag natin derived units, kaya nga, derived units. Basically, quantities can be described as derived quantities, which is a combination of base quantities. Combination lang siya ng base quantities. They are measured in derived units defined as the product of power base units. So, here are the common derived units. For area, example, we have the square meter, the symbol of M2, ayan sa taas, the volume, the cubic meter, the speed and velocity, we have a meter per second. We have also the mass and density with the unit of kilogram per cubic meter, concentration with the unit of mole per cubic meter, and mass concentration kilogram per cubic meter. So, most of the time, when we are computing, nakakaroon tayo ng mga derived units. Ito. And another thing dito, once this derived unit, meron siyang may mga equivalent values or accurate conversion para mas madali siya isulat. wherein itatakal, and mention ko naman siya later on. Ayan. So, we have also another derived units. Madami po sila actually talaga. Plane angle, radian for rod. Frequency for hertz. And as you can see, the hertz, SI, S to raise negative 1. Pag sinulat natin yan in a proper way, we can arrive at S over 1. We have also the force for the unit of Newton. Ayan, may encounter na natin sa Newton na naman. With the equivalent of, itong sinasabi ko kanina, meter kilogram per seconds squared. Para mas mapadali yung buhay nyo, pag nakita nyo to, yung mga unit na to. Ayan. Equivalent niya lang si Newton, kaya Newton na agad yung formula na dapat isulat nyo. Pwede namang ganito yung gamitin natin. Pero, para mas simplify pa, gumagamit na lang tayo ng Newton. We have the pressure, stress, Pascal. Same thing as Pascal, madami siyang equivalent. Pero para mas simple, isusulat na lang sa Pascal. The electric charge or the quantity of electricity in a column or C, and the Celsius temperature, degrees Celsius or the Kelvin. So, here are the more derived units, diba? Ang dami masyado. We have the energy, work, electric potential, current, density, electric resistance, dynamic viscosity, surface tension, magnetic field strength, and the electric charges. So, ayan, ito po yung mga combinations or tinatawag yung mga derived units na nanggaling sa mga base units. Pero, sabi ko nga sa inyo, para mas madali yung buhay nyo, dito na tayo lagi magsulat. Yung equivalent niya in short. Okay, next we have the prefixes used with SI units. Gaano kahalaga yung prefix SI unit? Dapat, somehow, meron kayong mga familiar, common, memorize or familiarize kayo sa mga common na prefixes. Bakit po? Kasi, when it comes to quizzes or exams, when encounter natin, yung prefix na yan, nagmamatter. Example, giga. Pag sinabi tayong giga, gaano kadami yung equivalent niya? It's about a 9 zeros. So, sobrang laki niya talaga. Coming from a base unit, which is 1, equivalent niya here. By the way, dito, yung mga exponent na yan, that is a written in scientific notation wherein i-discuss ko naman na mas madali later. For decimeter, madali lang siya coming from 1. Mag-move lang tayo ng 0 para mabilis. Pag nag-move kasi tayo ng isang placement coming sa right, automatic na nun, mas maliit na yung value niya sa 1. So, coming from that, pag mas maliit na yung value niya sa 1, automatic, you are dealing with the exponent of 1. Pag nag-move na naman tayo with another 0, you're dealing with the 2. So, mamaya, we will further discuss about the scientific notation para mas maikli siya isulat. Kasi pag ganito tayo lagi, kunwari nag-compute tayo ng isang giga, sa giga na to, madami pa tayong isusulat talaga kung hindi natin igamay kung paano gamitin sa scientific notation. Mas hassle sa atin. Okay. Measurement that we will utilize frequently in our study of chemistry includes time, mass, volume, density, and temperature. So dito, obviously sa chemistry, ito lang talaga yung in-encounter natin. Yung mga common lang. Sa physics kasi medyo madami-dami pa talaga na minemeasure. When it comes to mga projectile, o diba, ang dami nun. So, let's have the mass and weight. The term mass and weight are often used interchangeably. Although, strictly speaking, they are different quantities. Diba? Nung sa first discussion natin, na-differentiate naman natin si mass and weight. Pero nga, nasabi ko naman sa inyo, madalas sila nagpapalit. Pero ang main difference lang natin ni mass and weight is si weight is a influence with the force. Tama? Kung baga, it is just a mass times the gravity. Here in Earth, mostly constant is 9.81 meter per second squared. So, tina-times lang siya to get the weight. Pero most of the time kasi, yan ang nalilito ng iba. Next, we have and weighting. Ayan, weighting. The process of measuring a mass. That is a process. The SI base unit of mass is kilogram. So, kanina, SI unit is kilogram. But in chemistry, the smaller is gram is more convenient. Bakit po base unit, hindi tayo mostly gumagamit ng base unit na kilogram sa chemistry? Sa chemistry kasi, most of the time, gumagamit tayo ng small amount, kaya mas convenient gamitin si grams. Kung gusto natin ilagay sa base unit, madali lang, pwede naman natin i-convert si grams into kilograms. Ayan lang po, ita-times lang naman siya. Yung 1 kilogram, yung equivalent niya is 1,000 grams. So, technically, mas maliit si gram kaysa kay kilogram. Kasi nga, we are dealing with small amount mostly in chemistry. Next, we have the volume. Volume, the SI unit of length is meter. And the SI derived unit for volume is cubic meter. Generally, however, the chemists work with much smaller volumes such as the cubic centimeter and the cubic decimeter. So, katulad nga kanina, same explanation po, we are dealing with a small amount, so that's why we can use naman it to measure a small amount. Pwede naman natin siya ibabalik sa constant value through conversion. So dito, we have the equivalent. Once cubic centimeter, or written in scientific notation, it could be 1 times 10 raised to negative 6. So, tuturuan ko na kayo ng advanced in scientific notation, or generally, ito yung scientific notation na tinatawag natin, 1 times 10 raised to negative 6. Yung may 10 tapos may exponent. So, paano? Para mapabidali yung buhay nyo, pag ganito siya. Pag may nakita kayong exponent na negative dyan, automatic nyan sa isip nyo, mas maliit siya sa 0. Mas maliit siya sa 1. So, ibig sabihin, magdadagdag ka ng 0 in order to reach that value. So, coming from here, pag nagsulat tayo ng scientific notation, nag-move lang tayo ng 0. Coming from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, that's it. So, ibig sabihin, nagdagdag lang tayo ng 0. Kung isusulat natin yung mamaikli, it should be equal to 1 times 0.1 raised to negative 6. At kaya masabi ko sa inyo, mas convenient gawin si negative, si scientific notation. Pero, pag may nakita naman kayo na positive dito, yung ibig sabihin lang nun is greater siya sa 1. Greater or mas malaki siya sa 1. So, ibig sabihin, you have to move left or add 0 para makuha nyo yung exact na value mismo. Yun lang po yung rules sa scientific notation. Uulitin ko na naman yan later. So, for another common unit volume in is liter, ayan, gamit na gamit din siya si liter talaga lagi. And a liter is a volume occupied on 1 cubic decimeter. Ang 1 liter of a volume is equal to 1,000 milliliter or a 1,000 cubic centimeter. So, ito yung mga conversion factors. Most of the time, ito mga conversion factors is given sa quizzes natin or sa mga problems. Pero, there are times na hindi given. So, make sure that you have to familiarize with the common conversion factors such as this one. Yung 1 litro, equivalent niya is 1,000 ml. Ito yung mga common, which is 1 liter also equivalent to 1,000 cubic centimeter and equal also to 1 decameter. Ayan. Cubic decameter. And 1 milliliter is equal to a 1 cubic centimeter. Ito yung mga sabi ko, mga conversion factors na kailangan nyong i-familiarize. Pero most of the time, ito lang po yung ginagamit natin. Itong tatlong to. 1 si liter, si ml, and cubic centimeter. Madalang lang magkaroon nito. Okay, so in calculating the volume is a solid object. Sabi nga natin, how much space is take up, and it's easy to calculate the volume of a solid if it has a simple, regular shape such as the rectangle, the solid, pictured in the sketch below. To find the volume of a rectangle, the solid use this formula. So, when we are computing with the volume, mostly in a cube, madali lang siya i-compute pag sa cube. Pero pag mga complex shapes, talaga we are measuring, iba na yung formula niyan. Later, nagmamatter na siya. Pero dito sa atin sa chemistry, yung mga basic lang po. So, we are the length, the width, and the height. Makukuha na natin yung sagot sa volume. Ayan. Madali lang yan. Next, when we are computing with the area is first defined as a surface how much space is covered. It's easy to calculate area of the surface if it has a regular shape, as such as the blue rectangle in the sketch below. You're simply substituting the measurement surface of the correct formula. To find the area of rectangle surface, use this formula. So, madali lang po, length times width. So, basically, yung sagot, that is the area. Well, for computing the density, again, density is the quantity to express how much matter is packed into a given space. The amount of matter is mass that is space is taken into a volume. To calculate the density of an object, then you use this formula. So, nasabi ko na sa inyo na madali lang i-compute mismo dito. Madali lang talaga. The mass over volume. Pag yung sagot, obviously, yung sagot, yun na yun. Like, for example, this one. May example na tayo. The volume of a blue rectangle, solid about a 150 cubic centimeter. If it has a mass of 300 grams, what is its density? Basic computation. Ito times, ay divide lang. 300 grams divide 150 cubic centimeter is equal to 2 grams over cubic centimeter. Suppose you have two boxes. We are same size, but boxes is full of feather and the box is full of books. What is the box is a greater density? So, ito is, tawag dito, supporting questions lang to. Both boxes have same value because they are box same size. However, the books have a greater mass than the feather. Therefore, the box has a greater density. Ayan, another example. So, for the density, ito nga sabi natin, the SI derived units for density, so density unit is kilogram per cubic meter is awkwardly large for most charge application. Therefore, grams per cubic centimeter as equivalent grams per millimeter are more commonly used to solid, liquid, and densities. So, sabi ko nga kahit SI units dito, paulit-ulit lang yung explanation natin kasi pagdating sa chemistry, small amount yung minimeasure natin. Kaya, itong mga value na to, instead of using kilogram per meter cube, is ginagamit ng mga scientists natin or sa klase natin is often the grams over cubic centimeter kasi nga mas small siya, which is mas consistent as mas maganda siyang gamitin kasi tayo sa chemistry paulit-ulit na gumagamit ng small amount lang. So, ito yung conversion para kung needed natin ilagay sa SI unit, sundin yung SI unit, we can use a simple conversion like this one. 1 grams over cubic centimeter is equal to 1 grams over ml, which is equal to 1,000 kilogram meter cube, and 1 grams over liter is equal to 0.01 grams per ml. So, the equation for density, ayan, nasabi ko na sa inyo kanina. So, let's have an example in a problem. So, most of the time, hindi yun yung nilalagay yung basic computation. Most of the time, kayo mag-a-analyze, kukuha ng value sa problem. So, let's have the sample problem. Gold is a precious metal that is chemically reactive. It has used mainly in jewelry, dentistry, and electronic devices. A piece of ingot with a mass of 300 grams, so ayan, grams, and has a volume of 15.6 cubic centimeter. So, substitution lang po tayo. Ayan, klarong-klaro lang. 301 gram divided by 15.6 cubic centimeter, which is equal to 19.3 grams over cubic centimeters. So, substitution lang. Ganun lang siya kadali. Next, it's your turn to compute. Another example rather. The density of the ethanol colorless liquid is commonly known as the grain alcohol, with a 0.7898 grams per ml. Calculate the mass of the 17 grams of the liquid. So here, pag yung given naman is, ang hinahanap natin is the mass. We have to learn to cancel the formula, the main formula. So, we can use this triangle. Kaya I highly suggest na even sa math nyo siguro, applicable yung rules na to. Mas magandang gamitin si triangle kung hindi kayo marunong dimensional analysis, kumbaga mag-cancel. So, ito lang, madali lang siya. To find the density, kailangan ilagay siya, ito. So, sa case natin, yung hinahanap is the mass. We have to substitute you can use this formula. So, mass is equals to density times volume. So, substitution lang tayo, which is 0.798 grams per ml times 17.4 ml. So, pag yung answer, typically, yun na yung answer agad-agad siya. Which is 13.9 grams. So, madali lang, di ba? Madali lang siya literally. Another exercise. Ayan. So, it's your turn. How you will compute that computation exercise. So, anong formula yung gagamitin natin dito? Calculate the mass. O, ibig sabihin, mass yung gagamitin natin. Same formula po yung gagamitin natin. Mass is equals to density times volume. So, madali lang. Ita-times lang natin si 243 ml times 1.4 grams per ml. So, the answer is, ayan. So, typically yung sagot, of course, ready tayo sa sagot dyan, with 342.63 grams. Yun po yung mass na hinahanap natin. Next, we have also that temperature. So, in computing a temperature, ayan, in converting a temperature, we have only 3 common units. Sabi natin sa tatlong yan, kay Kelvin, Celsius, and Fahrenheit, the SI base unit of temperature is Kelvin. Pero, most of the time, gamit na gamit sa chem or yung lower grades is Celsius. Tama ba? So, let's have defined first the Fahrenheit, degrees of Fahrenheit, defined as the normal freezing and boiling points of water to be exactly 32 degrees of Fahrenheit and 212 degrees of Fahrenheit. We have also the Celsius. The degrees Celsius divide the range between the freezing point of 0 degrees Celsius and absorbing point of 100 degrees Celsius of water into 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So, dito, ina-apply na natin yung concept ni Celsius and Fahrenheit sa water kasi gamit na gamit sa water. We have also the Kelvin. It is a unit base of the temperature that is absolute temperature scale, means that the 0 is the Kelvin scale denoted by 0 Kelvin, and the lowest temperature that can be attained with theoretically. So, dito tayo. Ayan. So, paano? Madali lang po yung mga dapat nyong tandaan dito. Kailangan lang natin mag-basic, mag-plus, mag-minus, mag-divide. Ng common lang. Mismo. So, unahin muna natin kung paano i-convert si Fahrenheit into Celsius. So, paano nga ba? In converting Celsius, we need only to substitute the given value of Fahrenheit minus by 32 Fahrenheit. Ayan, magma-minus tayo ha, by 32 sa given. After that, close and open parenthesis, times by 5/9. So, yung sagot, typically, automatic dire-diretso na agad yun sa equivalent niya is Celsius. Wherein, baliktad siya when it comes to converting is Celsius into Fahrenheit. wherein Fahrenheit is equals to, kanina, diba, 5/9, babaliktad lang natin siya, which is, excuse me, which is 9/5 times the value of Celsius, the given Celsius, instead of deducting or minus 32, we need to add 32 para bumalik sa value mismo. Ayan, yung pinagkaiba lang. As you can see, napansin nyo, pag nag-convert tayo from Fahrenheit to Celsius, yung numerator natin is lesser. Tama? Mas taas yung 5K9. Pero pag nag-convert tayo from Celsius to Fahrenheit, nasa taas si 9, which is greater. Greater sa numerator. So, ito lang yung mga dapat nyong tandaan. Nagpa-plus, nagta-times, and nagdi-divide. Pero, ito yung pinakamadali sa lahat. We are converting with the Celsius to Kelvin. Madali lang po. Magpa-plus lang tayo. Paano? Kelvin is equals to given Celsius plus 273.15 Celsius. Times 1 Kelvin is equals to 1 degree Celsius. So, madali lang po. Mismo. Ayan lang dapat yung i-familiarize. Ito yung mga conversion factors. Yung madali lang. Yung magpa-plus, yung magma-minus, di-divide. Ayan. So, let's have the example. So, sample na agad tayo. So, solder in a alloy made in a tin and a lead that is used in electronic circuit. A certain solder has a melting point with 224 degrees Celsius. So, yung given is Celsius. What is the melting point degrees in Fahrenheit? So, we need to convert from Celsius into Fahrenheit. So, ayun, makikita nyo po yung step-by-step process. So, as you can see this one as our formula, then we only have to substitute the given value, 224, in the formula. Then, magpa-plus ng 32 kasi constant na to. And the answer will be 435 degrees Fahrenheit. So, ayan, madali lang. Basic substitution. Next, let's try with another example. Helium gas has the lowest boiling point of the element negative 452 degrees Fahrenheit. Convert the temperature into degrees Celsius. So, ayan, baliktad naman po. Kanina, pinakonvert sa atin is Celsius to Fahrenheit. Now, we will convert it from Fahrenheit into Celsius. So, here are the formula. So, the given formula, you have only to substitute negative 452 minus 32 times 5/9, which is equal to negative 269 degrees Celsius. So, don't worry, I know na medyo stress kayo na pressure. Pag sa chemistry tayo, allowed naman tayo gumamit ng calculator. So, wag muna kayong mag-overthink na hindi nagpapa-memorize, kailangan magaling sa math. Hindi naman ganun kasi may calculator tayo. Pero there are possibilities or there are times na yung mga basic lang, hindi na ako magpapaalam na gamit calculator. Pero kung mga ganito na, syempre, mag-need natin ng calculator, hindi tayo mathematician. Chemist lang. Semi-chemist lang, kung baga. Okay po. Next example, we have a mercury that only metal exists in a liquid at a room temperature. Melts as 1.389 degrees Celsius. Convert it into Kelvin. So, ayan po. Kailangan natin i-convert si Celsius given formula into Kelvin, or tinatawag nating SI base unit ni temperature. So, as you can see, magpa-plus lang tayo. Ito yung formula natin kanina. And all we need to do is just to substitute the value and plus 273 times 10 times 1. So, the value would be 234.3 Kelvin. Ayan. Huwag kalimutan lagi yung unit kasi yung unit yung pinakamahalaga sa science. So, next tayo. So, it's your turn. After giving 3 examples of conversion, it's your turn to do the task. So, ayan. you can pause this video to at least do your computation. Pero since recorded to, ayan, I also prepared the computation para hindi na kayo mahirapan pa. So let's do first, we have the letter A. Ayan, letter A muna tayo, which is the given 327.5 degrees Celsius, the melting point of a lead to convert into Fahrenheit. Ang gagawin natin, Celsius to Fahrenheit. Celsius to Fahrenheit. So, saan formula ang gagamitin natin? Ayan, back muna tayo. Celsius to Fahrenheit. Ayan. Ayaw mag-next. Teka lang. So, we are computing sa una natin sa letter A. We are dealing, ito yung formula natin na gagamitin. Ayan. So, balik tayo sa given. All we have to do is substitute the value, which is 327.5 divide by 9/5 plus 32. So, the answer would be, pa-check nyo lang kung natama nakuha nyo sa pag-pause ng video. It is a 6.217 Fahrenheit. Ayan. Then, for the second value, in converting 1.69.5, the boiling point, we have to convert it into Celsius. Ayan, baliktad naman tayo, Fahrenheit to Celsius. So, same formula po. All you have to substitute, which is 169.5 Fahrenheit minus 32 times by 5/9, which is equal to 76.39 degrees Celsius. So, for letter C, 89 Kelvin, you have to convert it into Celsius. So, baliktad siya po. So, here, all we need to do is 89.273 is equal to 184.1 degrees Celsius. So, ayan. I hope na tama yung computation natin. So, again, madali lang naman siya sa substitute lang sa given na value. Ayan. So, let's have the converting, how to convert a units. But, why do we need to convert? Ito yung paulit-ulit ko nga kanina na sagot, which is applicable siya dun sa basic computation lang, pero nagkakaroon siya ng problema in a real life situation. Kasi pag mali ka lang ng compute, mali ka lang ng convert, malalagot ka talaga. It could create a something na hindi natin ina-expect. Why do we need to convert? First, to have accuracy and avoid confusion in measurement. Yes, kasi sobrang halaga ng unit mismo sa science to gain an accurate value. Able to use this measurement unit to calculate the size, the mass, the volume of different object. Yes po. Hindi naman kasi sabi ko nga, hindi naman equal yung isang galong tubig sa isang basong tubig, 'di ba? Kasi nga iba yung sukat ng litro and milliliter, 'di ba? Iba naman 'yun. So, typically kailangan talaga ng unit. Are useful in comparison of two objects in a daily lives. So, ayun yung problem natin kanina. Very applicable. Conversion factor, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, may mga common conversion factors tayo na dapat nyong i-familiarize. Kasi ito yung katulong nyo para mapadali yung buhay nyo. Kaya I suggest na ma-familiarize nyo to. Hindi nyo naman kailangan na memorize, pero kung kaya, why not? Diba? Advantage yun. A conversion factor is a ratio expressing how many one unit is equal to another unit. A conversion factor is simply a fraction which is equal to 1. You can multiply any number by adding it the same value when you multiply the numbers of conversion factor to simply multiplying it by 1. For example, the conversion factor. Ito yung mga common conversion factor na ginagamit natin. Yung isang inches na yan, yung equivalent niya into centimeter is 254. Ito yung mga alam na natin. Ito hindi pa masyado gamit na gamit. 1 inches is equal to 0.083 feet. Excuse me, feet. Ito gamit na din to. 1 foot is equal to 0.3048 meter. And like this one also, ito gamit na gamit, and other this one. 1 meter is equal to 0.01 kilometer. Ayan. So, ito na yung mga basic na dapat nyong i-familiarize. So, ayan. So, next we have the step in converting units. So, ito na yung sabi ko nga, nagkaroon tayo ng revision of PowerPoint kasi gusto ko na step-by-step process yung computation para mas mabilis nyong intindihin. Ito yung dapat nito na write the numbers with units that you want to convert. Kailangan may unit lagi na gusto nating identify. Multiply it by conversion factor written as fraction. Mahalaga si conversion factor talaga when we are converting. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, i-familiarize nyo na mismo. Make sure that the old unit is cancelled. Magkakaroon tayo ng basic cancellation lang. And multiply all the numbers on the top and divide the numbers on the bottom. So, let's have an example. Let's start with the length. How many inches in 4.5 feet? So, ibig sabihin, kailangan nating i-convert from feet into inches. So, typically, kailangan natin ng conversion factors and basic cancellation. At step by step, isulat yung given na i-convert 4.5 feet. Kasunod, multiply convert factors written as a fraction, which is yung equivalent natin, ito yung kanina, is 12 inches equal to 1 feet. Sir, bakit sa baba po yung 1? Kasi pag sama tayo, in order to cancel, all we have to do is ilalagay sa baba yung unit na gusto nating makancel. O, kagaya nito. Feet, nasa baba. Para hindi kayo malito, ibig sabihin kasi ng 4.1 feet, automatic yan, over 1 yan. So, ibig sabihin, dito sa kabila may over 1 siya dito, para hindi kayo malito. Pero, para mabilis lang na cancellation, mag-assume lang kayo na may over 1 yan. Meron talaga yung 1. Kasi pag 4.3 divided by 1, yung sagot 4.3, kaya hindi na sinusulat lagi si 1. Yun lang yun, yung explanation. So, in order to cancel, you have to put the feet sa baba. Then, ilalagay yung conversion factor niya, ano yung equivalent niya. Then, ka-cancel yung unit. After canceling, ita-times na lang natin. 4.3 times 12 divided by 1, which is equal to 56.6 inches. Ayan. O, ayan, gets na ba? Ulitin natin para madali yung buhay. Ilalagay yung value. Ita-times lang. Sa baba, yung gusto nating makancel na unit lagi. Then, dapat familiar kayo sa conversion factor sa taas. Kaya ito yung mga dapat nyong tandaan para makapag-convert kayo. Yan lang. So, try natin. When it comes to time, convert 52.8 hours into days. So, step by step process, i-convert natin si hours into days. Ibig sabihin, mas konti yung value natin. Ito, 52 hours. So, sa isang araw, sabi ko nga sa inyo, over 1 lang to ha. May over 1 dyan na a-assume sa baba para hindi kayo malito. Kasi 52.8 divided by 1, 52.8 pa rin. So, hindi na siya sinusulat again. Ulit-ulit na nilalagay. So, sa isang araw, ilang hours meron tayo? Meron tayong 24 hours. So, in order to cancel, kailangan natin ilalagay sa baba. Sa baba si hours na may unit na hours para ma-cancel siya. So, tapos, ipagta-times lang natin. 52.8 times 1 divided by 24, which is equal to 2.2 days. So, ayan lang siya. So, let's have another example. Same process po. What if there are 2 units to change? Ito yung tinuro ko sa inyo is the basic computation lang. Paano yung double yung i-convert natin? So, we need to change the meter to feet. Ayan, 1 meter is equal to 3.281 feet. We also need to change the unit into seconds, which is 1 meter to 10 seconds. So, madali lang po siya. Paano? First step, ayan na, first step, isusulat si 3.45 meter per seconds. Ayan siya. And sabi natin, mag-assume tayo na meron siya sa baba dito. Times. Ano yung unit na gusto nating i-cancel? Anong gusto nating i-cancel? Sa baba, yung sa taas muna na unit, si meter. So, all we have to do is to put 1 sa baba. Ayan. 1 meter. And ilalagay yung conversion factor natin. Ito siya. 3.2 of 2. So, once nasa taas na yung value, and sa baba, automatic cancel na agad yan. Ayan. So, diretso lang. So, kailangan pa natin siya i-convert into feet, into seconds. So, kailangan natin i-times lang siya mismo. In order to cancel 1 meter, i-apply natin yung conversion factor mismo para ma-cancel din si meter. Kanina sa baba, 1 meter is equal to 60 seconds. So, cancel. Ito yung cancel natin kasi sa taas and sa baba, cancel. This one is also cancel. So, anong unit na lang yung natitira? Yung hindi na cancel. Feet. We have the feet times seconds. So, automatic yung unit natin, feet over seconds. Then, ipagta-times lang yung lahat-lahat. We have 3.45 times 3.281 divided by 1 times 1 over 60. Then, the answer would be 0.186 feet. So, baka nalito ulit. Madali lang po. Lalagay yung value. Magkakaroon tayo ng double conversion dito. For this one, nilagay natin sa baba si meter kasi nga gusto natin makancel sa taas. Tama? So, we have also to cancel the value of meter sa baba. So, we need to put the minutes sa taas in order to cancel kasi dapat opposing to lagi sa math. And 60 which is equal to seconds. So, ayan na po. Ayan. So, I hope you understand. What if one or more of the unit is squared or cubed? An object has an area of 45 cubic centimeter. What is its area measured? Is equal in inches. So, paano ba gumawa nito? Mag-convert. All we have to do is to familiarize again, katulad ng dati, the conversion factor. This problem should be set up if you are just converting centimeter to inches. Ito yung conversion factor na sinasabi ko. Then, we have to multiply it by 1 inches times 2.54. Ito po siya, yung conversion factor. The given times by the conversion factor. Kasi gusto natin makancel yung centimeter. Pag sinabi kasi centimeter squared, ibig sabihin nun, dalawang value pa. So, kailangan natin, ang mangyayari dito, magdo-double cancellation tayo para mawala yung exponent. Paano? Kailangan din nating mag-exponent para ma-cancel mismo. So, ayan. So, in order to cancel, ang bilis naman ng slide, we have to cancel, add the exponent. So, ayan. So, nag-multiply na tayo with another exponent para ma-cancel yung unit. So, ano na lang naiwan dito? Which is equal to 6.98 inches squared. So, ayun po. Pag may, tawag dito, double areas has a cubic centimeter, kailangan nyo lang mag-apply, kumbaga sa math, kailangan nyo lang mag-add sa kabila para ma-cancel sa kabila. Yun lang yung technique dyan lagi mismo. I hope you understand or try to learn it your own. Ayan. Step by step, nakikita naman siya. Ulitin natin. Isusulat lang yung value na naka-centimeter. Tapos, itas times siya doon sa conversion factor. Pero, in order to cancel, kailangan natin squared para ma-convert siya directly. Okay na po. So, we have also the common conversion factors. So, aside doon sa pinakita ko kanina sa mga conversion factors, meron pang mga madaming conversion factors. Pero, sabi ko nga, hindi naman lahat yan ginagamit. Pero, kung kaya mong i-memorize talaga, advantage siya. Pero, kung hindi naman, huwag kayong mag-alala, susubukan natin gamitin yung mga gamit na gamit lang. Okay po? Ayun. So, let's have the activity, sample activity in conversion. So, the lemon drinks contains a 5,000 milligrams of a vitamin C. Express the vitamin C content in a grams. So, ang gagawin natin, i-convert natin C milligrams into what? Into grams. So, titignan natin yung munang first step natin. Actually, madaming way to convert. Ito yung pinaka gamit na gamit or traditional conversion natin or the manual conversion. Pero, meron tayong best way or shortcut in short when it comes to conversion. Paano? Here, example, the conversion of a volume. So, sa volume, this one is our base unit. Typically, itong sabi nga natin, even though yung SI unit natin is in kilogram, kasi nga, siya yung gamit na gamit, siya yung nagiging base unit. So, kailangan natin mag-convert from milligrams into grams. So, from the prefixes itself, milli, ibig sabihin nun, equivalent niya is 1,000. So, kailangan natin i-divide lang siya into 1,000. Example, paano? 500 milligrams divide by 1,000. So, that's it, the answer. Pa-double check, that is the answer mismo. So, it's your turn to finish the other computation. Ayan, ito yung pinaka-trick lang na dapat yung tandaan. Basically, yung mga tinuro ko sa inyo kanina, ayan, yung mga traditional, hindi, kapag ako yung tinungin nyo kung ano yung prefer ko na gamitin, I don't prepare this one. Ayan. Pero pag alam nyo yung mga ganito lang, milligram to gram, I prepare this one talaga lagi. Magta-times lang tayo, magdi-divide, kaya mag-move lang tayo ng 0, kasi pag nag-move tayo ng 0 dito, automatic tens, hundreds, thousands, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, diba? Mga ganun lang yan. Ayan, so na-overview ko na kayo kanina sa scientific notation. Scientific notation is a way to express number as a product of two numbers as a coefficient and a number of 10 raised to power. It is a very useful tool for working with a number that are either very large or a very small. So, sabi natin, ito yung dapat yung magamay muna bago pumasok dapat sa mga conversions. Kasi, mahalaga siya pag nagsulat tayo. Kunwari, maunti yung space ng papel natin. Mas madali siya isulat pag naka-scientific notation. Pero dapat doon siyang kasi pag magwan ka at hindi mo alam kung paano isulat, ay lang yung problema. Kaya nga tinuturuan now para mas mapadali yung buhay mo. So, paano? N is equal to number of 1 and n. And n exponent is a positive or a negative integer is a whole number. So, any number expressed in a way said to be written in a scientific notation. So, ito lang yung 4 na rules. Rule number 1, the base is always 10. Totoo yan. Times 10 yan lagi, kahit anong gawin nyo. The exponent is non-zero, is the integer is positive or negative. And absolute value of a coefficient is greater than or equal to 1 but less than 10. And rule number 4, the coefficient carrier, the sign are positive or a negative. So, ito lang yung mga basic rules na dapat yung tandaan. Pero, meron tayong, di ba nasabi ko na kayo sa inyo kanina, yung mga overview para mapadali lang yung buhay. So, unahin muna natin si positive 2. Ayan. Unahin natin to. Etong 2. Paano magsulat nito, sir? Ito yung gusto natin gawing scientific notation. So, tignan. First step, kailangan nyo siyang tignan. Ayan. Saan yung decimal point? Ito, yung decimal point. Gusto natin gawing scientific notation. Sabi natin, ito yung minsan yung trick kasi yung iba. Pag greater sa 1, automatic positive. Tandaan to Pag greater sa 1, yung number like this one, 568, greater siya sa 1, automatic, the exponent is positive. Pero, pag yung number is less than 1, supposedly ito yung exponent, ibig sabihin yan, mas maliit siya sa 1, automatic, the exponent is negative. O, ayan, tandaan yung pinaka-basic pa lang. Pag positive yung exponent, pag mas malaki sa 1, automatic, positive yung exponent. Pag mas maliit sa 1 yung value, automatic negative yung exponent. So, paano isulat? Ito yung given. All we have to do is, from here, we have to move the value to the left. 1, 2. Dalawang galaw lang. 1, 2. Tapos isulat natin, 5 times 6 times 8, 7, 4 times 10 raised to 2. Kasi nga, dalawang move lang tayo. 1, 2. Or, ayan, pwede siyang mapaikli yung buhay natin. Paano? Mapadali yung buhay nyo rather. We have, pwede na siyang isulat in a way na 5.68. Ayan, 5.68. Minsan, yung iba, nira-round off na lang nila to. Ayan, tinatanggal. 5.68, 69 rather, kasi nagra-round out na lang times 10 raised to 2. Yung iba mismo. Pero, yung basic lang muna ituturo ko sa inyo. Pag nag-move tayo, kung ilang beses yung nag-move tayo sa right, sa left, yan yung exponent na ilalagay natin. O, kagaya nito. From here to here, ilang digit coming from the exponent? 1, 2. Dalawa lang, kaya 2. O, gets nyo na yan. So, paano naman pag mas maliit sa 1? Yung value, yung madaming zero. Kung baga, ibig sabihin lang yan, sobrang liit ng value na yan. Sabi ko sa inyo, pag sa right naman kayo nag-move, from here, example, 0.0000772. O, ayan. From that, gusto natin siyang paikliin or isulat in scientific notation. So, pag nag-move tayo sa right, ayan, automatic exponent negative. Paano? From here, o, tisundan na. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, 6 tayo nag-move. So, maglalagay tayo ng dot dito. Probably, kasi, kadalasan na sinusunod sa scientific notation, yung goal lang natin is makaiwan tayo ng isang whole number. Lagi. Kung baga, hindi pwede tayong mag-move dito. Hindi pwedeng mag-move dito, rather. Ayan. Hindi pwedeng mag-move dito ng sobra-sobra. Pero yung goal na kasi natin lagi, magkaroon ng value sa whole number in short. Again, same move lang tayo, movement ng zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then, isusulat lang yung remaining values sa kanan. 7.72 times 10 lagi yung base raised to negative 6. Kasi nga, pang 6 na beses mo na minove yung value mismo into right. Tapos, isusulat lang kung pa ilang beses siya. So, 6 na siya. Negative 6 kasi nga, pa right. Pero, kung sa kabila, in short, ayan, kung mas malaki siya, positive sign yan. O, madali na. Gets nyo na yan. Dalawang value lang. Ulit, trivia tayo. Pag nag-move tayo pa right, pag nag-move tayo pa left, ibig sabihin nun, mas malaki yung value sa 1 yung value. So, kung gusto lang natin siya paikliin yung buhay or paikliin yung value, isulat in more shorter term. Example, this one. Pag nag-move naman tayo, and so forget pala yung and then yung exponent is positive. Pag nag-move ng left. Kabaliktaran, which is pag nag-move tayo pa right, yung exponent negative. Kasi nga, mas maliit yung value sa 1. O, ayan. So, let's proceed with the significant figures. Ito din yung dapat yung tandaan aside sa scientific notation. So, paano yung significant figures? Significant, mga mahalagang value in short in Tagalog. So, we have the common rules. Ang binigay lang dito, which is 5 rules. Pero actually, meron pa tayong mga additional rules na i-explain ko naman sa inyo later on. For first, any digit that is not 0 is significant. So, for example, lahat ng hindi 0 is significant. So, example dito, 478 cm, bibilangin lang 1, 2, 3, ilang significant figure? 3. Kasi nga, walang 0. Significant sila. So, same thing as here, kahit may decimal point yan. Kung hindi siya 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 kasi nga, hindi sila 0. Yun lang yun. Second rule, for significant figure, the 0 between non-zero digit are significant. Ito yung exception kanina sa number 1. Pag si 0, makikita siya sa dalawang non-zero, for example, 809, 809, automatic counted siya sa bilang as a significant, kaya 3 significant figure. Same thing as here. O, nasa gitna si 4, si 0 ni 4 and 5, so significant siya. Then si 0 dito, nasa gitna siya ni 5 and 1, so consider siya as significant. Kaya 5 significant figures. Next, number 3 rule. 0 of left of the first non-zero digit are not significant. So again, sa left side ha. Left side. Ibig sabihin lang nun, mas maliit siya sa 1 yung value. Example, 0.01. Dito, we have only one significant figure. Kasi, sabi natin, pag maliit si 1, mas maliit yung value sa 1, lahat ng 0 nagsisimula dito coming from the decimal point, lahat to cancel. Hindi siya kine-consider. Si 8 lang. Kaya 1 lang yung significant figure. Same thing as here. Ayan. Lahat to, yan, hindi yan kabilang. 3, 4, 6, 9. Next, if a number is greater than 1, ayan, kanina kasi nga mas maliit siya sa 1, kaya sabi ko hindi siya counted. Pero pag mas malaki siya sa 1, then all zeros written to the right of the decimal point is count as significant figure. Example, 3.0. 3.0. So dito has a 2 significant figures. Kasi nga, pag nasa left, hindi siya counted. Pag nasa right, which is greater than 1, automatic counted siya as significant figure. O, baka nalito na. Pag sa left, hindi kasama yung 0. Pag sa kanan, kasama. O, di ba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 3, 1, 2, 4. 4 significant figure. Baka nalito 3.0 kasi nga, mas malaki siya sa 1. Pero, kung 0 dito nakalagay, automatic hindi to kasama. Kung 0 lang to, hindi to kasama, 40 lang yung value. And the significant figure lang dito is 1 lang mismo. Kung 0 dito. Pero sa case na to, 4 significant figure tayo. Next, if the number is less than 1, the only 0 that area and the end of the number and the 0 at between non-zero digit are significant. So dito, sa case na to, ayan, 0.090. Sabi nga natin, lahat ng value dito is significant. So we have 2 significant figures. So hindi kasama to lahat sa kabila, sa left. Same as here. We have the 420. 420, kaya consider siya as 3 significant figures. So let's have the example. Later, maidadagdag ako na rules aside dun sa 5, which is hindi lang nakasulat. By using the significant notation, we can express the number by 400 as 4 times 10. Itong 400 na to, pwede natin siyang gawing 4 times 10. Paano? Madali lang. 400 kasi automatic sa 400. Mas maliit siya sa, mas malaki siya sa 1. Automatically, andito yung decimal point. Nag-assume tayo. Meron talaga dito na point. We only move 1, 2. So, pag nag-move tayo pa right, pa left rather. Pag nag-move tayo ng pa left, since mas malaki siya sa value ng 2, dalawa yung minove natin pa left, automatic, the exponent will be 2. Kasi dalawang beses tayo nag-move coming from the decimal point. Gets ba? Same thing lang siya kahit ganito or ganyan. Yan. Pwede siyang isulat. Pero I prefer na ganito siya isulat na lang. Para less hassle na din sa inyo. Let's try. Let's have a practice. Practice, determine the number of significant figures in the following measurement. So, for letter A, ilang significant figure? Sa first rule, agad-agad yan. Walang 0, automatic. 3 significant figures. For letter B, ilang significant figure meron? We have 3 significant figure. Kasi nga, sabi sa rules kanina, pag si 0 makikita sa dalawang number, automatic considered as significancy 0. So, for letter C, ilan yung significant figure sa letter C? 0.821. Sabi natin, pag mas maliit yung value sa 1, or kung dito mas maliit sa value sa 1, automatic, hindi counted si 0 sa kaliwa. So, we have only 3 significant figures for letter C. How about for letter D? For letter D, titignan lang natin, ilang significant figures? We have 2 significant figures. Kasi mas maliit siya, same explanation, mas maliit sa 1. And makikita siya sa left. 1, 2, cancel. Ito lang yung dalawa, counted. How about this one? Ito yung hindi natin na-explain kanina. Kung paano magbilang pag naka-scientific notation. Yung pinaka-rule lang dito, pag scientific notation, magbibilang kung ilang significant figures is i-disregard yung exponent. Ayan. I-disregard to yung 10 times 10. Then, magbibilang lang tayo. Since naka-positive siya, ayan, ibig sabihin nun, mas malaki siya sa 1, bibilangin natin lahat ng value. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we have 4 significant figure. So, bakit sir kasama si 0 sa kanan? Sabi nga natin, pag yung kasunod na value and mas malaki siya sa 1, counted siya mismo. Mas counted siya as a significant figure. So, how about this one? Ito yung F na hindi nakasulat dun sa 5 na significant rules. 7,000. How many significant figures sa 7,000? Actually, the answer here is 1 significant figure. Bakit sir 1 significant figure? Ang idadagdag ko na rule dun sa significant figure is that the trading 0 or yung sunod-sunod na 0 sa right is considered as non-significant. Again, yung sunod-sunod na 0 sa kanan is considered as non-significant. So, example, disregard this one muna. Kaya disregard this one. Kung wala tong exponent na to, since isang 0 lang siya, considered siya. Pero pag nagdagdag ako ng 0 dito na isa pa, considered siya as trading 0. Doble na yung 0. Automatic, makakount lang siya as 1. So, example sa 7,000, since tatlong 0, automatic trading 0 siya, sunod-sunod na 0. So, counted lang, isang significant figure lang siya. So, another example, 100. 100, ilang 0 sa 100? Dalawa. Ibig sabihin na ulit. Pag naulit, automatic trading 0 siya and considered as 1 significant figure lang. Ayan na, dagdag ko yun sa 5 na rules lagi. Next, we have the accuracy and precision. We have also the two terms na laging napagkakamalan or napagsiswitch. We have the accuracy, tells us how close the measurement is to the true value of the quantity that was measured. And we have also the precision, refers to how closely two or more measurement of the same value agree with one another. So, in this illustration, makikita nyo, we have the accurate and precise. Sabi natin, pag accurate, mas close siya sa totoong value. Pag precise, mas close siya sa mga other values. So, let's have this one. Ayan. Accurate and precise. Kasi nga, ito yung true value mismo sa pinakagitna. And precise, kasi nga, isa lang yung value na ginamit natin. Lahat sila, dikit-dikit. mismo sa true value. So, consider siya as accurate and precise. So, how about this one? Not accurate, but precise. Hindi siya accurate kasi nga malayo siya sa true value, which is dito sa gitna. Precise siya, it is just because the dots here is compressing to each other. Pinagsamang dot. That's why they are precise. Like here, for the third, it is accurate, but not precise. Paano? This dot is almost close to accurate true value, so consider siya as accurate. Not precise, kasi yung tinitignan natin sa precision, dapat itong mga distance from this dot to this dot to this dot to this dot to this dot is dapat close to each other, kaya hindi siya precise. Nagigets ba? For this one, not accurate, not precise, kasi nga ito yung true value. Ito yung true value sa gitna. Then, malayo sila, so automatic hindi siya accurate. Not precise kasi nga yung dot is magkakalayo mismo. Tignan mo, yung distance dito and the distance here is not close to each other, kaya not precise. So, let's apply this concept in a value. Ayan, so let's have the example. The 3 students are asked to determine the mass of a piece of copper wire. So, may tatlo tayong students. Si student A, si student B, and si student C. Meron silang tatlong sample. Tingnan namin, we have, ayan. Sa tingin nyo sa tatlo, sino sa kanila yung may pinaka-accurate or yung pinaka-close sa true value, which is the 2.00 grams, or precise? Pag sinabi natin precise kanina, the closeness of the value, ayan. So, para hindi na kayo mahirapan yung buhay nyo, of course, I prepared the computation. So, paano natin ma-identify? Sabi, ito yung green, ito yung true value. Ito yung dapat magdidetermine kung paano natin masabi na accurate yung isang value. Madali lang, ipagpa-plus lang to lahat. Ayan, plus din lahat. Same value pag plus. Pag mas malapit ka sa true value na 2, automatic, considered siya as accurate. So, sa tatlo, sino yung pinaka-accurate? Si student A, si student B, or si student C? Obviously, si student C. Kasi nga, 2.001, which is almost close. Sino naman sa tatlo yung pinaka-less yung accuracy? Automatically, si student B. Kasi nga, 1.970. So, medyo malayo-layo siya compared kay A. Para next question tayo. Sino naman yung pinaka-precise sa lahat? Automatically, the answer is letter C. So, student C pa rin sa pinaka-precise. Bakit? Napapansin nyo ba yung kulay blue? Ayan, ginawa ko na para hindi kayo ma-stress. Bakit ko nasabi na si student C yung pinaka-accurate and pinaka-precise? Dito, 0, 2, 6. And coming from the whole number, meron tayong tatlong 0. May tatlong 0. It only means that mas maliit lang yung agwat ng mga value sa kanila. Around 0, 0, 1, yung agwat ng mga values. So, automatically, the values are very close to each other. Kaya most precise siya dito. Yung agwat lang nila is 0.001. Ayan, dito. And siya yung accurate and precise. So, dito for student P, di ba kung ikukumpara natin, yung agwat nila medyo malaki by 0, yung agwat nila is 0.002. Ayan, 0.002 yung agwat talaga nila. Kung ima-minus nyo pa to, 2, which is mas less precise sa lahat, o pinaka-less yung precise sa lahat is si student A. Kasi yung agwat, 64. Biglang tumalon sa 71. O, diba? Pinakamalayo. Ayan, nagigets ba? So, yan po yung pinagkaibahan ni accuracy kay precision. Again, pag accuracy, gaano ka-close sa true value, Pag sinabi natin precision, gaano ka-close yung agwat ng bawat value. Ayan, select this one. So, I hope you learn. Ayan yung explanation. Ako na mismo. Oops. Finally, we are done with our discussion. So, this are our discussion for today. I hope you learned something for today. So, I add up after giving the activity last time. Ayan, di ba may binigay akong activity sa inyo about the measurement of the coins at the same time the soft drinks. Tama ba? Madami nag-message kasi sabi, bakit daw hindi nasusolve si ganito, ganyan. Actually, yan yung nga yung goal ko, yung purpose ko bakit binigay ko yung activity. You have to learn how to convert. First, you have learned to convert. You learn to be critically observe sa mga units in advance. At the same time, critically how to analyze, learn how to analyze kung tama ba yung mga given na value. So, madami nag-chat or nag-message kasi daw, hindi na solve yung sa soft drinks. Especially sa percent of error. Which is, exactly, tama po. Yun nga yung error. Buti may nakapansin, may nag-message sa akin. Which is actually, yun nga yung trick ko sa inyo. Kung may makakapansin, ibig sabihin nun, they know, you know, kung 250 ml is a unit of volume. Wherein, yung gusto kong ipakompute yung nakalagay doon is you have to use the height. Tama ba? So, coming from that, hindi siya imposible na masasolve. Kumbaga, yes, it is possible. Paano? Meron tayong mga formulas na kailangang i-utilize. So, basically, kailangan natin yung unit ni, you have to use the radius of the bottle of soft drinks. Basically, di ba, alam natin yung soft drinks is a circular form. So, basically, lang natin isukat yung radius coming from the center. Then, using the formula, we can use the volume is equals to pi over the radius, times the height na given natin, which is 250 ml. Coming from that, we can solve the height. So, once we solve the height, we can now apply or solve the percentage error mismo. So, ayun lang po yung rules. So, sa mga nakakuha ng explanation, you get it. You have the knowledge on how to analyze a problem. So, sa mga hindi nakakuha, it's okay po. It is just a challenge na somehow na makakatulong po sa mga next lesson natin. So, I hope you learned something for today, class. And have a great weekend. Good day, everyone. Goodbye. Annyeong.